When we plant little seeds and nurture them, one day that little seed will grow into a tree. Note the two important factors in this quote: seeds and nurture. While planting is important, perhaps the more important thing is to have someone who will nurture and groom the plants. This is the case with RE/MAX, a company championed by a visionary leader who started his business from selling house for a few thousand, but has over time sold properties worth billions of dollars. As exciting as this sounds, do not forget that the road to success is not littered with roses and jars of honey. There will be thorns and struggles along the way. And today, we explore the journey of RE/MAX. Perhaps you'd pick a few tips to help your journey. Hey everyone, and welcome to Booked, where we inspire others with inspiring stories. In today's story, we will go over the story of RE/MAX and its founder, Dave Liniger. RE/MAX may be known today as one of the biggest real estate companies in America and the rest of the world, but it started from the bottom, faced numerous challenges, and eventually overcame it all to become a global success. But behind every successful company is a visionary whose vision drives the company to achieve set goals. For RE/MAX, it is none other than the phenomenal Dave Liniger. Today in America, Dave Liniger is largely regarded for improving the working conditions of real estate brokers and their clients. RE/MAX agents are considered the most educated and productive in the industry, thanks to Dave's empowerment of partners through advanced training and education. Before we get into the RE/MAX story, perhaps you want to learn a thing or two about Dave Liniger. Dave Liniger's entrepreneurial career shook the real estate sector, but it started off as a near failure, making for one of the most inspiring comeback stories in the history of business. Liniger was born and raised in Marion, Indiana, and went to the University of Indiana before dropping out. In his words, "I wasn't very mature at that age. I didn't have a goal." At 17 years after completing a few semesters, he decided to drop out and enlist in the Air Force. Dave Liniger attributes his maturity, self-discipline, accountability, and knowledge about life to his military experiences. It unleashed the adventurous side of him and shaped his next steps. Dave has often said that if he wasn't doing real estate, he would surely be in the military. One important lesson we can learn from Dave Liniger's journey so far is that he was self-aware. He knew what was working and what was not. Being in college at that early age was simply not working for him. He wanted to be in an environment that was more engaging and exciting, hence his decision to join the military. This same principle should guide us on our journey to the top. Don't be in a place or environment that doesn't fan your flames or motivate you to become better. It is totally fine to leave and start afresh. The journey to RE/MAX. What we now admire as one of the most remarkable real estate companies started as a side project. Yes, Dave Liniger started his real estate adventures while in the military. Although his wages were just fine to take care of his immediate bills, he wanted more for himself and his family. So he would use some of the money he saved from his wages to buy old houses, renovate them, and resell them. His first deal made him a $4,000 profit at the time, which was considered a lot of cash. Having seen the opportunity in the real estate sector, Dave Liniger left the military to venture fully into real estate. He made tons of money, and by the age of 21, he already acquired 21 homes and got a license as an official real estate broker. It is quite incredible to see so much progress Dave Liniger made between 17 years and 21 years, only in a space of 4 years after deciding to drop off from school. Now imagine if he hadn't taken that bold step to pursue what worked for him. If you're a student, we're not saying you should drop out of school. Different things work for different people. More than anything else, you need to figure out what works for you. And when you do, pursue it relentlessly. Okay, back to our story. Although Dave Liniger experienced early success in his career, it wasn't long until he started experiencing setbacks. He would go for weeks without making a single sale. Gradually, self-doubt started creeping in. David Liniger was able to overcome these periods of self-doubt, thankful to a motivational speaker that inspired him. Dave Liniger often attributes his turnaround to David Stone, a motivational speaker that made him have confidence in himself again. The encounter with Dave Stone encouraged Dave Liniger to improve his sales skills and put more effort. This encounter paid off, and soon enough, Dave Liniger was back on his feet. During your downtimes, what fan your flames? What keeps your head above water level during stormy weather? No matter how smart and experienced you are, There comes a time in life when things don't seem to work as they should. I want to encourage you to look out for motivation. Talk to people who are ahead of you. Read good books or seek a mentor. It is totally fine to ask for help. You don't have to go through it alone. The launch of RE/MAX. Oh, I just realized I haven't told you the full meaning of RE/MAX yet. Can you guess? Okay, let me help you out. RE/MAX is the acronym for Real Estate Maximum. Just as this name implies, David's objective in this company is to give real estate brokers the maximum commission realized from sales. Okay, let me explain in detail. Before launching RE/MAX in 1973, Dave Liniger also worked in 3 different real estate firms while also doing his side projects. He first worked in a brokerage firm in Phoenix. Given his dedication to work and sales experience and expertise, he excelled as a sales representative, eventually rising to the top of the company's sales team. He then went to another Phoenix brokerage firm, a move that was crucial to RE/MAX's success. Liniger only worked at his second Phoenix brokerage firm for 3 months, but it was there that he heard about the 100% maximum commission. After enjoying large amounts of commission as a top-level real estate agent, Dave Liniger decided to establish an organization that would model other real estate agents like him and give them the opportunity of keeping 100% of their earnings. In his model, agents would have a say in how the office is handled, but they would also share the costs of running it. With this in mind, Dave invited 5 real estate developers to invest $300,000 into his venture. And in 1973, what started as a side project for Dave Liniger evolved into a company. One more little story to spice things up. Although Dave Liniger married at an early age, he divorced his first wife and would later marry his very first employee. Wait, Dave Liniger didn't employ Gail just to marry her. He only proposed to her after she showed excellence at work and made sure the office was kept and running. Perhaps Dave must have been impressed about the way she managed the company and decided to let her manage his life too. Overcoming setbacks. Shortly after they started running RE/MAX, the real estate industry collapsed, and the developers who once promised $300,000 withheld the investment. Liniger's debt grew, putting RE/MAX on the verge of bankruptcy. As the company's debt grew to $780,000, including overdue quarterly remittances to the Internal Revenue Service, IRS, the IRS locked all of the company's offices, stopping RE/MAX from any form of operations. But Dave Liniger was unstoppable, and his wife was a major form of support through these stages. While Dave Liniger worked furiously to recruit agents, his wife Gail was able to appeal to debtors and convince them to give RE/MAX more time. Well, before the end of the first year, David Liniger had already recruited 21 sales agents, and things were beginning to take shape. He would go on to remodel his business to a franchise. So instead of spending money on several offices, he used the franchise model to penetrate markets and kept a low overhead cost. In no time, he was able to pay off his debts, and the company grew to become a force to reckon in the real estate business. Through it all, Dave Liniger said taking one step at a time helped him navigate the journey. Remember what I mentioned in the earlier part of this video? All you need most times is a seed and a willingness to nurture the seed until it turns into a tree. Selling houses as a side project was Dave's seed, and he nurtured it until it became RE/MAX. Again, also knowing what works for you matters a lot in your success journey. Knowing what worked helped Dave Liniger change his business model to a franchise. Today, the rest they say is history. Don't waste time doing the wrong thing. No matter how hard you work in the wrong place, it will never yield anything tangible. Well, Dave and Gail went on to build a company that is not only successful, but designed to outlive them. And like the storybook says, and they lived happily ever after. Book's recommendation. Leaders are readers, and for Dave Liniger, he doesn't just read, he's also written a book that shares in detail his life journey. We hope you check out his book and read your way to leading your industry. My Next Steps by David Liniger. This book was written by David Liniger, and it tells the story of how Dave discovered the strength to fight through his anguish. The motto, just 10 steps, was his guiding light. He could take 20 steps if he could just take 10. He could walk a mile if he could just take 20 steps. Dave was finally able to return home after 3 major surgeries and 6 months in the hospital. He is still recovering, but he is back in charge of the company he loves and is becoming stronger every day. This book will encourage those who are facing tragedy to find the fortitude to accept their circumstance and do what they need to do to go forward in their lives. We highly recommend it. Plant your seed and nurture it until it becomes a tree.